major American racing series where the big three Detroit manufacturers do battle every week. A 5-car team representing Ford, including past winner this year, Ron Fellows. The 4-car Archer Brothers team in the Dodges. And Chevrolet is well represented, too, in this series. Defending Trans Am champ Jack Baldwin, 91 titleist Scott Sharp, and Greg Pickett, always a front runner, going head-to-head today at Sears Point. Sunshiny summer Sunday afternoon at Sears Point International Raceway for the Pay Less Drugs Trans Am Classic. Big crowd on hand here this afternoon to see a wonderful afternoon of racing. Hi, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin. We're at Sears Point International Raceway for round 6 of the 1993 Trans Am Tour. Those 3 drivers and a host of others are going to do battle here today, and it's going to be quite a show. This is a terrific racetrack. These drivers enjoy coming here, and they promise they're going to put on a whale of a show for us here today. It's been quite a battle in the points as well. We'll cover those point standings for you as we move through our broadcast this afternoon. Beautiful weather here, temperature in the low 90s at Sears Point today, and the best crowd ever for an SCCA Trans Am Tour event at this beautiful racetrack that's just north of San Francisco in the wine country. Here's a look at the Trans Am point standings coming into round 6. Scott Sharp, the 91 champ, the leader over Jack Baldwin, the defending titleist. Tommy Archer sitting 6th ahead of Michael Dingman, one of the Ford drivers. Courtney Smith, the rookie this year. And, of course, we've got a great battle among the manufacturers. Ford and Chevrolet tied. Dodge very close in the standings at this point. All 3 manufacturers want victory here today at Sears Point to beef up their point standing situation. Covering the pits today for us is Bill Hennessy. Bill?
Thank you, fellas. It's going to be one exciting afternoon of racing here. Over 30 Trans Am cars and 4 different manufacturers are assembled to go racing. We're with our pole man right now. That's Jack Baldwin. And Jack, what an afternoon to go racing.
Oh, it is. It's hot and sunny. It's actually a beautiful day out here at Sears Point, and I'm sure it's going to make for some pretty exciting action.
You told me earlier that you didn't think you were going to lead the first lap. You were going to take it easy. Have you changed your mind?
When did I say I wasn't going to lead the first lap? No, I want this Mattel Hot Wheels Camaro to lead the first lap. We want the bonus point, and you know, I'd like to lead every lap actually, but and hopefully we can. But it's a hot day, and it's going to take a little more than just slamming on the floor to win this one. It's going to take some intelligence and some luck.
So Jack Baldwin thinking strategy as Scott Sharp puts his cool hat on. Joining us today in the booth, former Trans Am champ and a winner this season, Dorsey Schrader. Good to have you with us today.
Glad to be here.
This is the action at Portland a couple of weeks ago. Tell us what went on here between Fellows and Scott Sharp.
Well, you see Scott Sharp in the 33 yellow Rain-X car. He just took a little nudge from Ron Fellows there. It wasn't intentional, as Phil Bartelt did one of the best jobs of avoiding the wreck as he goes through the gravel pit there. But that little bump there cost Ron Fellows a penalty.
It did, but it gave him victory that Saturday afternoon at Portland. Field getting ready to roll off here at Sears Point. We'll see how Fellows and Sharp and the rest of the field can do today in a moment.
For all the thousands of words already written about the revolutionary Dodge Intrepid, Automobile Magazine managed to sum it up in just 4. Intrepid. This changes everything.
No matter what you drive, we've got you covered from H to Z.
We're watching driver Hut Strickland test the McDonald's car. Hey guys, what keeps Hut going?
McDonald's coffee, Jack. Hut loves the stuff.
McDonald's coffee, really?
Yep. Hut loves those sausage biscuits, too. What? He says they're only 79 cents.
Hey, he's pulling off.
Yeah, he's out of coffee.
What you want is what you
You want a sausage biscuit or anything?
at McDonald's today.
T-Plus engine treatment is made with tough DuPont Teflon, the same coating as on Mother's frying pan. Nothing sticks. This, on the other hand, is an unprotected engine. When you start your engine, metal grinds on metal. But add T-Plus once, and tough DuPont Teflon coats every valve guide, cylinder wall, bearing, and cam, reducing engine wear for up to 50,000 miles. Now you're cooking. Beat the daily grind, add T-Plus. The T is for Teflon.
Today's Speed World coverage is brought to you by the new Chevy Camaro. What else would you expect from the country that invented rock and roll? And by Toyo Tires. No matter what you drive, we've got you covered from H to Z. Back here at Sears Point International Raceway for the Payless Drugs Trans Am Classic. Rick Benjamin with Dorsey Schrader. Dorsey, Jack Baldwin on the pole here at a very fast racetrack.
Well, Jack Baldwin, always good here, and you're right. Sears Point is a very, very fast racetrack. Over 165 miles per hour in a Trans Am car. Riding on board right now with Bobby Archer as we approach turn 1. Over 150 miles per hour as you head up here. You certainly don't want to get it wrong here. Up the hill toward turn 2, the car gets very light. When you go over the crest here, the car wants to get sideways on you. And you run down into the next valley, turn 3. Not a lot of room down here. You see the mountain right on the outside. One of the best turns in racing, turn 4. If you bump that curb, you get big here. The car up on 2 wheels. Down into the valley again, turn 5, a very hard turn to get through. Off camber, the car wants to push here. So you head out of that corner, very quick, wide open through here, turn 6, and the car headed toward turn 7 where the carousel actually leaves the ground right here. You can see where it was dark there where the cars land. It's easy to lock the brakes up and have a big spin right here. Around the inside onto the carousel, you come onto the back side of the straightaway, or the drag strip as it's run that way. Up through here, top speed, 165 miles per hour in these cars, and then very hard braking as you turn for turn 7 all the way into second gear right here. And the track usually breaks up right in this area, makes it very, very slippery. Now, the S is very, very fast, wide open through here. You have to have the car balanced to go left, right. If you get off a little bit early on, when you get down to this next part, turn 10, it's a huge accident waiting for you. You get down through here, this is turn 10 under the bridge we're looking at. As you turn in that's 150 mile an hour right-hand corner leading down to the entrance to the pit lane and the turn coming onto the straightaway. A good place for hard braking, a good place to set up a pass right here to complete your lap at Sears Point.
Like to pass on the inside there going into that last corner?
Well, to a degree you do, but you've got those tire bales there. You got to watch out for them, and the car wants to get loose as you come out of here. This is, in fact, start-finish that we're looking at as it approaches. 2 by 2 through here is pretty tricky.
Field lining up behind the Mustang GT pace car. Let's take a look at the starting lineup. Jack Baldwin, the defending series champ, and the 91 champ Scott Sharp will make up the lead row today. Tommy Archer in the second row. Third row, his brother Bobby with Mitch Wright, the 2 Dodge pilots. And we have Ron Fellows in the 4th row. 5th row, George Robinson and Jeff Perner, who's come on this year. Row 6, Dino Crescentini and one of the other Ford pilots. 7th row includes George Robinson, Bob Patch, Randy Ruhlman, Jim Derhaag in row 8 today. And moving along to the 9th row, Bill Saunders, one of the Highwaymaster Dodges. Mark Peelsticker, one of the independents at a Chevrolet. Jim Tryon in row 10 in the Ford car. 11th row includes rookie contender Courtney Smith, Walter Payton, the former NFL star, Jerry Clinton, Payton's teammate, in the 12th row today. In the 13th row, Eric Wells and R.J. Valentine has been in this series a long time. Buzz Dyer in the 14th row. Big field of cars here today. Jim McGuire and Deborah Gregg in row 15. John Gooding in row 16 here today at Sears Point. And the 17th row, Mike Downs will ride shotgun on the field in his Pontiac Firebird, car number 35. Great field of entrance here at Sears Point.
You got to kind of wonder about how much will team strategy play out here. We got the teammates, Scott and Jack, right in the front row, right behind them, all the Dodges. It's awful hard to pass here. If you got guys working side by side, it's almost impossible.
Field coming around turn 11, looking for a green flag this time by, of course, Greg Pickett in his Cytomax Chevrolet, also a strong contender. He'll be 3rd on the grid today as we're ready to go racing at Sears Point International Raceway. Jack Baldwin, your pole qualifier today. Scott Sharp alongside, coming out of the main straightaway. Green flag is out and we're underway, and Baldwin into that first left-hand turn 1 at Sharp right alongside, and Baldwin maintains the lead up the hill.
Well, right away, Sharp saw that there was no room to run on the outside. He tucks in, and that's a good thing for a teammate to do. He's got Jack's backside covered right now. You see the Dodge there in third place. And so the Chevy's 1-2, then the Dodge, then Greg Pickett.
Greg Pickett trying to move up from his fourth starting spot. He is fourth at the moment. Jack Baldwin from Marietta, Georgia, the Hot Wheels Camaro. He is the defending champion in the series. Baldwin really put together a fine year last year. He wants to get back into the thick of the point hunt today.
Yeah, he does. You know, he's a real strong competitor. He is the reigning champion, you're right. He wants to run. He always runs good to hit this racetrack, so he's right up there, and he looked like he's extending the lead a little bit.
Young Scott Sharp, who's won a couple of these events in 1993, trying to give chase in his Rain-X Chevrolet. We saw Sharp win earlier this year, run very, very well earlier this year in the series, and we'll look for a strong run out of him today. He was the leader for a long time at Road Atlanta before Ron Fellows won that event. Tommy Archer in the Dodge still trying to break through here in 1993 and win a race.
Well, you're right about that. They need a win real bad for Dodge, and they've been right there every race. They're right there in the top three. They just haven't pulled it off yet.
Jack Baldwin starting to stretch out his advantage. Here's Greg Pickett in his Cytomax Chevrolet, running in the fourth spot. Pickett, one of the few Chevrolet drivers who runs strongly, who's still using the 1992 sheet metal on his car.
You know, Greg's one of the guys that's been in this series the longest of everybody, and as a matter of fact, as we're talking, look, our leader's pulling in.
Yeah, Jack Baldwin off the outside of turn 11 goes pit side. We'll see what his problem is. Baldwin leading the first lap and then having to duck right onto pit road. That's going to leave Scott Sharp out in front here. His crew will jump the wall and come to the attention of the Hot Wheels Camaro as quickly as they can. Right-hand side of the car, what could this be? Gearbox problems?
Well, it could be gearbox or anything in the drive line. You certainly wouldn't be stopping. It's not a pit stop race, and here they're going right underneath the right side of the car, putting Jack under, so this is a bad deal under green for Jack Baldwin.
We'll take a look at that situation, keep tabs on it for you as we progress. Meantime, at the head of the field, Scott Sharp in his Rain-X Chevrolet over Tommy Archer in the Shell Zone Dodge. Tommy Archer, a great road racer. They won a couple of races last year, but so far this year they've just been a little bit off the pace.
And this deal right here hurts Scott Sharp quite a bit. Now he has no tag team mate. He's just by himself. And you've got right behind him Tommy Archer, as you said, behind that Greg Pickett. But that's also a factory Chevrolet effort right there, so the two of those might work as a team. Otherwise, you got all red Dodgers all around you.
Tommy Archer and two of his teammates really dogging Scott Sharp at the moment from East Norwalk, Connecticut. Sharp, the 91 champ, one of the Buzz McCall automobiles, same car number, but different sponsorship last couple of seasons for Scott Sharp. One of the great young race drivers in America. Lots of folks stand. We've got a spin. The 75, that's Paul Gentilozzi, the teammate to George Robinson. Gentilozzi overcooking it there.
Yeah, I saw him get into braking, got inside. That's a good place to make a pass attempt going into turn 7 there, but he got in a little bit too deep. I think he dropped the wheel out in the dirt on the right-hand side of the road and has spun the car in front of the field. Gentilozzi
quickly back on the throttle. Former drag racer, gets the car pointed in the right direction. One of the George Robinson team entries. Gentilozzi operates his own Oldsmobile team at IMSA, but he's doing a lot of Trans Ams this year with Robinson. Leaders out of turn 11 here at Sears Point. Mitch Wright moving up to 5th in car number 8. Scott Sharp leading the parade at the moment over Tommy Archer and Greg Pickett as they put another lap on the board and start up the hill from turn 1. Dorsey, Scott Sharp so far very strong.
Yeah, but one thing you don't want to do is run too hard too early. You have to manage these rear tires on these Trans Am cars or you'll have nothing left to race with at the end.
3 of the Dodges in the top 5 at the moment. We go on board with Bobby Archer in car number 9. He's sitting in 4th spot right now, trying to move up on Greg Pickett. Greg Pickett's had a great record in Trans Am over the years.
Boy, he's been running a long time. He's been running with Chevrolet a long time and is doing a real fine job here today, no doubt about that.
Pickett in the Cytomax car, a winner last year on the Tour. Jack Baldwin's car just dropping the jack on that automobile. Baldwin, the pole sitter, led lap 1, had problems right off the bat, and now he's going to get underway, but he is way behind. If you have to stop under green in Trans Am, that pretty much does your chances of winning in.
Well, it does, and it's taking him out of the lead lap, and you'll not get that lap back on racing surface anyway.
Jack Baldwin with clear track in front of him to try to make something happen here today at Sears Point, but a very tough break for the defending champ in his Hot Wheels Chevrolet out of the Buzz McCall stables. Of course, he's the teammate to the current race leader, Scott Sharp. Let's go on pit road with Bill Hennessy and find out what happened to Jack Baldwin here today.
Okay. Steve Everly, obviously problems on the Hot Wheels car. Jack Baldwin, you brought him into the pits, you jacked up the right side. What's wrong?
We got a little drive shaft problem. We think we've got it under control. We're a lap down, but I think Jack is all pumped up for the race. He'll come back.
When you say a drive shaft problem, could you explain?
At the rear of the drive shaft, we had some noise, so we had to go in and look at it.
Well, Jack Baldwin will get after it, but he's got a lot of distance to make up. We're at Sears Point. Scott Sharp leads Tommy Archer and Greg Pickett. Back with more in a moment.
Extra, extra.
The bedroom just had our greatest sale ever, with every waterbed marked down 15 to 50%. Now, for 3 days only, take an extra 21% off all those low prices. An extra 21% off only at the bedroom.
Extra, extra, extra.
The bedroom just had our greatest sale ever, with every waterbed marked down 15 to 50%. Now, for 3 days only, take an extra 21% off all those low prices. An extra 21% off only at the bedroom.
Extra.
Pay-per-view delivers the hit movies you want to see at the times you want to see them. This week, don't miss Howard's End, Hellraiser 3, and Mel Gibson in Forever Young. Premiering Thursday, July 15th, Robin Williams stars in the whimsical comedy Toys. And on Friday, July 16th, catch the premiere of the action-packed sequel, Best of the Best 2. Pay-per-view brings Hollywood's biggest hits right into your home. Check your listings for showtimes.
Major League excitement. 5 nights a week on ESPN.
This week on America's Game of the Week, the Athletics face All-Star Wade Boggs and the Yankees tonight.
Don't be chicken. Feast on all the ball on ESPN.
Back at Sears Point International Raceway, Rick Benjamin and Dorsey Schrader for the Payless Drugs Trans Am Classic. And Dorsey, so far, a Scott Sharp benefit show today.
Yeah, he's got being pursued pretty hard by Tommy Archer right there, but then a break back to the next 3. You don't know how much cat and mouse is going on right now. We're not halfway yet, so these guys might be just riding off some laps.
These races are so short, though, really, 100, 125 miles. Can you hold back at all? Don't you have to go full tilt all the way?
You can hold back a little, but you cannot go full tilt all the way. If you ran these cars as hard as you could, 4 or 5 laps in, you'd be out of rear tire. So these guys are probably at 80%. Scott's driving the pace he feels best, and now we've got an incident 28 car here.
That's right. Bob Davis spins off one of the corners, backs it into the berm. You can see him lock up the brakes there. Fire out of the headers of the car as Davis tries to get it refired. He gets the car started. He'll be back on the racetrack. Bob Davis in a Pontiac, car number 28, coming back on the track here at Sears Point.
Well, that's raw fuel up inside the exhaust, unburnt fuel. When he refired that car, it blew all that flame out onto the side there. You saw it come out, but that's no danger to him.
Here's a replay of it as we take a look. Davis with a little bump and grind move into the corner.
Yeah, nothing he could do there. He was trying to get by on the inside, got bumped in the quarter panel, and you see the car sliding off, got in that grass, and there's the flames we're talking about coming through the exhaust pipe.
Davis refires the car, a little flamethrower there as he gets the Pontiac restarted. Dry grass around here. Looks as though we could see the grass starting to catch fire a little bit. And here's the fire truck on the course to take care of the situation.
Good call there, and you see the racing continues. What they'll do is they'll put a white flag out. It doesn't mean 1 lap to go. It means slow-moving vehicle. You see the fire truck went out. Race goes on. They're doing a good job here.
They sure are. Track crews right on the scene where Rob Davis went off the course and caught a little bit of the grass on fire. Will continue in racing conditions, though. Scott Sharp still your leader over Tommy Archer and Greg Pickett. All 3 of the big 3 manufacturers involved right there in nose-to-tail racing.
Well, they've closed it up, too. We had that big gap before, but it looked like Greg Pickett now has closed in on Tommy Archer, and now we've got a 3 or 4 car battle.
As we take a look at the fire crews battling a little bit of grass fire that Rob Davis's car touched off, doing a wonderful job here at Sears Point to keep this thing from getting out of hand, allowing us to keep the green flag out all the way around the course. Scott Sharp being dogged hard by Tommy Archer up the straightaway.
Coming in turn 7, this is a good pass zone, hard braking right here. We see some of the cars lock wheels occasionally. This is where Paul Gentilozzi got in trouble before, but these guys all through pretty clean.
Bobby Archer in car number 9 trying to find a way around Pickett. Is that a good spot to try to pass here at Sears Point, setting up for the S's?
You can set it up, but you have to have it done before you get into the thick of the S's. Otherwise, you run side by side. There's a real good chance you'll get together and have an accident there.
Tommy Archer in car number 3 running second. We go on board with your leader, Scott Sharp from East Norwalk, Connecticut in the Buzz McCall Chevrolet with a Rain-X sponsorship this year. Scott Sharp really one of the great young road racers in America.
He's doing a real good job in Trans Am Series. He's learned how to manage his car. You don't see Scott sliding the car all around. We saw a couple of the Dodgers before with the back end starting to hang out. You really got to watch it. You burn the rear tires off these cars, they won't come back to you.
Pretty soft tire compound supplied by Goodyear here?
Well, you get your choice, and it's up to these guys. Whatever you qualify on, those very 4 tires that you qualify on, you have to run in the race. So if you go with soft rubber in qualifying, you'll be quick, but you got to manage the car a whole lot more than a guy like right here, Ron Ron Fellows, usually has a hard compound. Now, Ron Fellows, that car's based Tom Gloy's shop right there at the racetrack. He's been our dominant guy all year, and he's way back here in 6th, so they're off a little on their setup today.
Now, does this track favor the Chevrolets perhaps a little more than the Fords?
Well, you know, if you look at the statistics over the years, the Chevys have had a better time here. The Fords have never shown greatly at this racetrack for whatever reason. I ran there a bunch of times, and we were yet to win. I came in 2nd here a couple times, but boy, it's tough. I don't know why.
We're riding with Bobby Archer up through the hilly part of Sears Point International Raceway, down low into a left-hander, trying to move up on 3rd place. Greg Pickett, you call this the carousel, back out onto the straightaway.
Absolutely. It's a downhill carousel, and you heard the engine give a little funny note there, and that's jumping the rear end.
Scott Sharp leads at Sears Point. Back in a moment.
Camaro Z28. What else would you expect from the country that invented rock and roll?
When you're looking for a clean break from your cola routine, you don't want to be sucked in by imitations.
You want the only non-cola that picks up where colas leave off. You want the Uncola 7-Up.
When you want the taste of there's only one.
Did you know that stress and certain vitamin deficiencies can cause hair loss, and that researchers are growing hair in a test tube? When you call Hair Club for Men, we'll send you this information along with Hair Club's own advances in dealing with hair loss.
I wanted something that looked very natural and also looked very natural when I was skiing and when my hair was very wet.
It made me feel old to be going thin at 24.
Hair Club's innovative techniques in dealing with hair loss will give you the confidence you've always wanted.
I did not ask to lose my hair. And for a long period of time, I thought that I would have no choice. And with Hair Club, I do have that choice.
No matter what sport or activity, your new hair will look and feel like your own.
Now that I have a full head of hair, people that haven't seen me in a while, they don't even know I had anything done. It's like totally natural to them.
So call Hair Club for Men and receive our free brochure, along with some tips that may help you keep the hair you have.
I'm not only the Hair Club president, but I'm also a client.
America's top road racers in action today at Sears Point International Raceway on ESPN. The SCCA Payless Drugs Trans Am Classic. I'm Rick Benjamin with Dorsey Schrader. Dorsey, the Archer brothers and their Dodges trying to get their first win of the season here today.
Well, it's important for Dodge to get a win. They got 3 cars right now running in the top 5, but those Chevys and Fords usually give them a battle.
Tommy Archer has been second all the way. He's had a really, really difficult week of it. Some physical problems. He's having a little trouble operating the clutch pedal in that automobile. We sent our Bill Hennessy before the race to talk to Tommy and his brother Bobby about the week and their rivalry.
Yeah, Monday night we got here to San Francisco area and went to wash the car, and I must have done a spin on my leg and I tore the cartilage out of my left knee, and so we've been keeping it on ice all week and trying not to use it anymore, and we have to, but during the race we know we're going to have to use it about 410 times, so it's going to be a hard one on the knee.
How did you let your brother out-qualify you with a bum leg?
That's a good question. Actually, we've been working a lot with our different setups, and you know, it's so competitive. It's like throwing the dice and getting a good lap. You know, I'm only, I think, a couple tenths behind him, but you know, yesterday afternoon I outdid him. So you know, if you look at Trans Am overall, it's kind of goes back and forth. You know, look at Ron Fellows. He's won 3 races, and I think he qualified 7th.
So qualifying not necessarily an indicator of how well you'll run in the race.
No, you can get it off in qualifying on the setup and then make your adjustments and come back and be strong in the race. So it really doesn't mean a thing.
Good battle deeper in the pack. Deborah Gregg in car number 2 in the Chevrolet had 4 top 10s a couple of years ago, and former NFL star Walter Payton had car number 34 going at it.
Walter Payton had a good power slide there. That's usually an indication either he was a little abrupt on the throttle or he could have some rear tire problems coming up here too.
Walter Payton trying to make a career for himself in road racing. He's come a long way in a few years, hasn't he?
Great guy. I mean, to come into this sport and to get into a high-powered car like Trans Am, these aren't easy cars to drive necessarily. And, you know, we see Walter a lot of top 10 finishes and running better every time we look at him.
He's right now in front of the car of R.J. Valentine. Car number 7, Walter Payton and Deborah Gregg going at it deeper in the pack today here on ESPN Speed World coverage of the SCCA Trans Am Series. It's great to have you with us today. We're watching Paul Gentilozzi also trying to come back through the pack. Gentilozzi, normally a front runner. He spun early in the action here today, and he's trying to march his way back up through the field.
Well, very aggressive driver. He made that mistake early. Now he's paid the price and probably let his tires cool. He's probably been riding for a while. Now he's starting to get aggressive again. It's time to make his move.
The 84 car of Jim Triumph from Castro Valley, California, at the head of that pack of cars, including Deborah Gregg, Walter Payton, and Paul Gentilozzi. So we move down into turn 11.
Gentilozzi, the guy to watch, he's just moved inside Walter Payton. He's going to be the aggressor now. It's decided it's time to pull the trigger and watch him. He's going to run for the front.
Gentilozzi now working up behind Deborah Gregg as they swoop back onto the main straightaway under the start-finish bridge and come to turn 1. And Deborah Gregg, who's had some good finishes in Trans Am this year, though, as Gentilozzi tries to make a move to the inside, she holds him back.
Boy, that's almost how he got in trouble the time that he spun up there in turn 7. He moved inside, dropped into the dirt there. That's 150 miles per hour right through there. It's not a good place to lose it.
So Gentilozzi and Deborah Gregg in quite a battle right in front of Walter Payton. Why would an NFL Hall of Famer want to take up a second sport? Bill Hennessy talked with Walter Payton before today's events.
Ready? Chicago Bears, 34. The number's been retired, but you've reactivated it.
Yeah, I was trying to pull it out of the ashes. This is our second year running Trans Am, and we're pretty comfortable with the progress that we're making.
How much fun is Walter Payton having?
Well, I'll tell you what, if it wasn't fun at all, I wouldn't be here, and that's the only reason that I'm here, that it is a great deal of fun. Guys that we're competing against, they seem to be class guys, and that makes it even better because if the guys were a bunch of, wasn't very nice, it wouldn't be very fun being in a starting situation like I am now, getting into a race or a sport for the first time.
Football to motorsports, what was the attraction?
Well, I think it was just trying to be safe and public conscientious because Illinois State Police, they were the ones who told me to take my talents to the racetrack and take them off the street. So I guess that was one of the reasons why I'm here.
Dorsey, does world-class athletics translate well into racing? I mean, Walter Payton, the all-time leading rusher in the NFL?
Well, there's no question about it. He's disciplined himself. Concentration's a key factor. Aggression, controlling the aggression, and it's the same as in football. Walter doing a real good job at learning these race cars.
Walter Payton here to the inside in turn 11, working his way by Deborah Gregg. Now he started out in Olds Pro. He's worked his way up.
And that's a whole different thing. Olds Pro, of course, a very light car with not a lot of horsepower. This is a heavy car with all kind of horsepower. So he's learning engine management, throttle management. He's coming quite a long way.
So Walter Payton doing a nice job here today at Sears Point as he works into the uphill portion of the course. Got a glimpse there of the Hot Wheels Camaro. Jack Baldwin trying to get himself back in the thick of the hunt here today at Sears Point. Baldwin had that problem. He sat on the pole here today, led the first lap, had to go right to the pits. Let's take a look at our top 10 at this point from Sears Point. Scott Sharp leads Tommy Archer and Greg Pickett. Bobby Archer and Mitch Wright dodges 3 of the first 5 spots. First Ford belongs to Ron Fellows in 6th spot. Back in a moment.
Gun protectant. Nothing works better on your car's leather, vinyl, and rubber. It can turn just about anything into a great-looking car.
Nice car. What, this pile of junk?
Give it the gun with Son of a Gun. And now give your tires a quick kick with One-Step Tire Care.
Only a Pep Boys Automotive Supercenter could offer so much. Thousands of brand name parts and accessories in stock 7 days a week. Car or truck, import or domestic, Pep Boys will make sure you get the part you need when you need it. Pep Boys. Look for our value pack catalog in your newspaper, mailbox, or at the store.
This week on America's Game of the Week, the Athletics face All-Star Wade Boggs and the Yankees tonight.
Don't be chicken. Feast on all the ball on ESPN.
Welcome back to the Payless Drugs Trans Am Classic at Sears Point on ESPN. I'm Rick Benjamin with Dorsey Schrader. Look at this, Dorsey. Jack Baldwin to the inside of Payton.
Good gutsy move right there in turn 1, high-speed corner, moved right inside, positioned his Camaro right there, and it was an easy pass.
Baldwin in the Hot Wheels Camaro. We documented his problems on the first lap of the race today. Driveline trouble. Meantime, here's Bobby Archer with tire trouble.
Boy, speaking of problems, look at that. He's losing the whole tread. There it goes, as a matter of fact. Now he's running just on the rim. That's a lucky break right there, because if that tire hadn't come off there, it could have beat the bodywork off. But that's turn 7 he was in, a long way back to the pits on 3 wheels.
We go inside with Bobby Archer as he fights that car. He obviously had to bring it way down in terms of speed and gearing to get the car back to pit road. We'll follow his moves around the racetrack. Meantime, everybody else in the field able to go right by the Shell Zone Dodge driver. Back at the head of the pack, Tommy Archer leading Greg Pickett as they wage quite a duel for second spot behind race leader Scott Sharp. Greg Pickett trying to get back into the battle here with Tommy Archer as they work up through turns 1 and 2, trailing Sharp now. Meantime, Bobby Archer's made it to pit road.
Bobby Archer makes the break onto the pit lane now. Coming into the service of his crew, it looks like he's got a right rear tire down on the Fire and Ice Dodge Daytona. They go around to the right side tires. A little slower than you would see in NASCAR competition, but tire going on the right side. He obviously felt this was a problem several laps ago when he called his crew and said, look, this car's not handling as well as it should. Pretty quick stop as he's in and out in approximately 33 seconds for Bobby Archer, who was running as high as 5th earlier.
So a tough break indeed for Bobby Archer. He too now way back in the pack. We take you back up toward the front of the field where Tommy Archer is running second behind Scott Sharp. There's Sharp in the 33, the Rain-X car. And Greg Pickett in his Cytomax Chevrolet sitting third. Pickett's really been in Tommy Archer's tire tracks this entire event.
Yeah, and you know they're not holding back now. We're past halfway, so it's time to go race. And these guys now should be giving all they got.
Is the track going to be greasy at this point, Dorsey? A lot of rubber laid down now?
It usually does, and it's hot. We started this race at 90 degrees. So, you know, it's hot out here. These tires should start going off at the back. Plus, you're burning the fuel off. The fuel tanks on these cars behind the rear axle. So the car's getting lighter at the back. The tires are going away. So we'll see the back end start fishtailing here pretty good.
Tommy Archer with his mirrors full of Greg Pickett's car. Pickett with some very, very strong finishes over the years. Always a strong contender in SCCA Trans Am competition. We make it down to turn 11 here.
Now, this corner right here, you have to really manage the throttle because it's easy, as you see the Dodge do, to light the tires up halfway through the corner, slide all the way up to that wall there, and you've lost all that rubber. A lot of race left to go. You can't burn it up yet.
Now, Tommy Archer may be the least experienced driver in these cars among the top 3 here.
Well, he is, but they've learned a lot. This is their second year, you know, with the Dodges. They're learning about this tire management situation, and these guys are, all these top 10 guys nowadays are so strong, so competitive, all real good race car drivers, and they're all working together pretty good.
Scott Sharp continues to lead Tommy Archer at Sears Point. We'll be back.
It has a 10-cylinder, 400-horsepower engine and seats up to 7. It hits over 1 G on a skid pad and has an available built-in child seat. Its front fenders resist dents and chips. It has 133 sound deadeners, silencers, baffles, and mufflers. And there's room in back for 49 bags of groceries. Caravan, Viper, and Intrepid. The new Dodge.
The new Toyo 800 Plus all-season touring radial is Toyo's finest tire, designed for superior driving comfort, a very quiet ride, and long tread life. The Toyo 800 Plus comes with an 80,000-mile warranty. Now, we've got to admit Michelin offers a similar warranty, and so does Bridgestone. 3 superb tires. So, what's the difference? See your nearby Toyo dealer, and he'll explain. Gladly. Toyo tires, driven to perform.
Sports Illustrated gets you ready for NFL football in this exciting new video, Inside Football 93. Free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. The best way to get inside the action for over 24 million readers. Call this number now and get the best of last season, plus Sports Illustrated's views on the next champion.
I like San Francisco to beat Dallas in one of the greatest championship games.
Plus, you'll get a second video free with your paid subscription. The NFL Video Yearbook of your favorite team. Pick any one of the 28 teams and get their best from 92 and a preview of 93. Free from Sports Illustrated. Get 2 free videos, Inside Football and the team video of your choice, plus 54 issues of Sports Illustrated, including the 2 big football previews for only $1.39 an issue. Save over 52% off the cover price. For quicker delivery, use your credit card. Every week, Sports Illustrated makes sure you really get in the game. Nobody's into sports like Sports Illustrated. Get into it.
Tough competition today at Sears Point International Raceway. Rick Benjamin and Dorsey Schrader for the Trans Am Tour here on ESPN as we watch Greg Pickett in third spot today. Behind leader Scott Sharp. He's still working on Tommy Archer through the S's.
Yeah, and I'm watching these three cars to see who's sliding, who's not. Looks like Scott Sharp's got the best managed car out there. The car's totally straight. You watch these other two. These guys are racing hard for position.
Tommy Archer holding second. He's been there virtually all the way. Greg Pickett biding his time, but now you say, Dorsey, it's time for him to really stop that and go for the front.
Yeah, it's far enough in the race now. You got to start being aggressive and see who's got what. You got to try to run the other guy and make him make a mistake, and try not to mistake yourself. They're running really hard right now.
And we have trouble on the course. There's the 74 Hunting Ranch Camaro of George Robinson getting together with Rich Sloma. Robinson, a winner on the tour last year in his new car number 74, a 93 Camaro, backs up. Sloma stopped against the tires there. They came together in 11.
That is turn 11, in fact, and I think probably what happened is that George got inside Rick, and Rick didn't know it. He touched him and turned him sideways and trapped both cars right there coming on the pit straightaway.
Sloma and his independent Corvette gets back underway. George Robinson is already underway and back down the racetrack. Sloma, a local competitor from the area here in California. Here's a look again at the battle for second that's going on. Wonderful battle down through the carousel as your leader continues to be Scott Sharp.
Yeah, Scotty's car, you look at, it's a good shot right there. Great shot as they come out of the carousel on the straightaway. No sliding going on there. All those cars are hooked up pretty good right now going to turn 7. A slippery corner here we'll have to watch. In fact, you see some hard braking right there. Tommy Archer lock up the right front. You can tell this right now, they're really running the cars hard.
Greg Pickett holding back, perhaps going into 7 there to try to get a run down the hill.
Well, you got to back off to make the run happen, that's for sure. These cars are almost identical in their horsepower output and so forth, so you have to give yourself some room, try to time your pass and get to a place where you can put your nose inside a guy.
As we take a look, George Robinson in trouble again. He's lost the hood off the 74 Hunting Ranch car. Now this is the head of the carousel. Robinson looks okay, just the hood flew off from that contact.
Yeah. Speaking of putting the nose somewhere, there you go right there. That's going to hurt him because that's a lot of downforce on the front of that Camaro. With that gone, it looks like a modified car. It's going to get front lift now. The car's going to push pretty good. It's going to, just not handle on the high-speed circuits like it did.
Meantime, we watch that battle for second once again in turn 11. Pickett still trying to find his way underneath Tommy Archer.
And Tommy braking as late as he can, again locks the right front. Now the problem there, you keep that up, you'll get a flat spot on the right front. It'll always lock up. And Greg is working Tommy really hard right now. He wants by, you can tell that. Tommy's looking in the mirror and saying, oh, no, you don't. I'm going to break in here deeper than you ever saw.
They're coming up on the Deborah Gregg automobile up through turns 3 and 4. Pickett in the Cytomax Camaro, the number 6, really all over the back end of Tommy Archer now.
Lap traffic plays a big part in this. When you catch lap traffic, it's going to hold up Tommy because he's the lead car. And if Greg's smart, he'll back away and get the run. As we look right now at George Robinson getting by Rick Sloma.
Those two cars came together last time by right in the same spot on the racecourse. They give each other plenty of room this time.
A little wave even saying, sorry about that last course. They're working with each other.
Well, Robinson's still out there. He's decided apparently not to commit and try to get a new hood put on the car.
It'd take too much time. He might as well just run off the laps like that. He's still, he's in the part of the racetrack where he can get the job done still.
And again, the nose-to-tail battle for second spot. Pickett refusing to give up here, even though he so far has not been able to get by Tommy Archer.
Well, the two of them going at it awful hard. You see, now they're using the curb. You see Tommy just run up over the top of the curb there. It's not a real good thing. That'll loosen the car up even more and maybe give you a cut-down tire. It's easy to do that around one of these race courses.
All these cars using V8s, 310 cubic inches. Is the power pretty even among the 3 brands of cars?
It is. It's just so competitive these days. The factories all want to win so bad, and you really have 8 guys at the front who can win every race, and you really have to do it out of consistency. And that's, we won only 1 race this year where Ron has won 3, but he's 4th place in points right now, and we're 1st. So you really just have to keep getting those top 5, hopefully top 3 finishes.
Scott Sharp, the driver of the Buzz McCall Chevrolet, the Rain-X Camaro, the 91 Trans Am champion, trying for a second title, perhaps in 1993. He's got the lead, held it pretty much all afternoon here. Meantime, here's Greg Pickett to the inside with a pass.
That's a good place to pass. That's turn 7, hard braking. Greg moves to the inside. Now Tommy looking to get a double pass, but there's no room once they get to right there. Tommy thought better of it, drops back behind.
Pickett had the inside line going up to turn 8 and down the S's, so Greg Pickett has taken his Cytomax Camaro into second spot. First time all afternoon here at Sears Point, relegating Tommy Archer back to third. Now we're far enough into the race. Is this a point where Tommy Archer's left leg might be bothering him?
Well, it could be sore. There's no question about it. We saw that right front tire locking up each time under braking as we see a replay right now. You see Greg has been watching that. He says, oh, you got brake problems. A little hip check there. I think they had a little rub in there as they got inside turn 7, but a clean pass nonetheless.
One of the things that makes Trans Am competition so entertaining, you can lean on each other a little bit in these automobiles, and Pickett making the nice move to the inside of Tommy Archer to grab second spot as the cars work back down the S's. And now Pickett stretching it out a little bit.
Yeah, I think Greg has a little bit more car than Tommy at this point. You saw Tommy struggling awful hard to hold him back, locking up that right front wheel and so forth. Greg just sat there and waited for that tire to get hot enough, and he just moved by and drove off.
We go inside with Jeff Perner, the driver of the Royal Oak Chevrolet. He is up to 6th. Perner, a rookie contender in Trans Am this year, but he's got plenty of experience. He's raced GTP cars, many other classes. Fine young road racer. Perner doing a great job his first year in the SCCA Trans Am Series.
And that is Mitch Wright right in front of him in the other Dodge. As a passes look, yep, he's got himself positioned at turn 7 again. He is going to pass Mitch Wright. And these are the 2 contenders for Rookie of the Year, the 2 of them running really hard for rookie points.
Perner taking a ride this year with the Bruce Barkler, the Data Storm Racing team, and Perner really turning in some good rides. We're at Sears Point for the Trans Am. It's Scott Sharp over Greg Pickett now. Tommy Archer drops to 3rd. Ron Fellows up to 4th of the 4. Jeff Perner moves to 6th.
The news about Dodge Intrepid hasn't made Ford and Toyota very happy. After all, its revolutionary cab-forward design means Intrepid has more passenger room than Taurus or Camry. Plus, Intrepid offers safety features they don't give you, like both driver and passenger side airbags standard, or an available integrated child safety seat. So when the press started calling Intrepid names, you'd think Ford and Toyota would be overjoyed. They weren't. Dodge Intrepid. This changes everything.
Major League excitement. 5 nights a week on ESPN.
This week on America's Game of the Week, the Athletics face All-Star Wade Boggs and the Yankees tonight.
Don't be chicken. Feast on all the ball on ESPN.
Max out. Max out. Twice a day on ESPN.
And we're back at Sears Point International Raceway as we continue to watch the battle back in the pack. Mitch Wright and Carter Bray to the outside. This is Randy Ruhlman getting by.
A good pass there in turn 11. Randy moved inside there, got underneath, and there's nothing you can do. Once that happens, you can't block, you can't defend against it, and you see he gets the launch out of there. Mitch Wright falling back quite a way.
Scott Sharp now putting a lap on Walter Payton as the cars race down the straight stretch and again into turn 7 here.
Boy, it looked for a moment there like Walter didn't know Scott was there. It looked like some indecision as the 2 cars barbled side by side. That'd be a terrible thing to happen to Scott Sharp, as dominant as he's been, is to be lapping Walter and get in trouble there.
The 91 Trans Am champion, Scott Sharp from Connecticut now, working through some of the lap cars. This is a point where I imagine he's really concerned about those back markers.
You really got to watch the back markers. Scott's got such a dominant car right now. He's out there running by himself. All it takes is one mistake. You know, you go alongside some guy, you think he knows you're there, he turns in on you, you touch. We've seen it happen before.
Scott Sharp in turn 11 now, all by himself, bidding for a second victory of the season here today at Sears Point. And at the moment, barring car trouble, you've got to figure he's got an excellent chance. Meantime, we take a look at Greg Pickett in car number 6, running in second spot. Pickett trying to gain some ground on Sharp. Now we've got trouble on the course. Meantime, this is one of the Dodges. Bill Saunders off the track into the tire.
That's the top of turn 2, and I think what happened is he got up in there under braking. The car's not really stable as you're going from the right to the left, and I think he locked up the front end. The car's gone pushed straight off the track and hit head-on into the tire barrier there. I think that's right at turn 2.
Saunders has crumpled the front bodywork on that car, but he refires it. Let's take a look again here in replay.
Well, that's exactly what happened, but it wasn't turn 2. But he definitely had the brakes locked up as he got into that corner a little bit too deep and it's gone off. You can see now the whole front end, which is fiberglass, is torn away. He's going to have a hard time getting that car back. It's locked the left front wheel, you see.
Yeah.
The piece keeps getting underneath there and locking it up. You'll lose steering. It's a dangerous situation right there for Bill.
Bill Saunders, well-known SCCA amateur racer, now turning pro this year with the Trans Am Tour, the Highway Master Dodge out of the Archer Brothers stables, and he'll come back onto the racetrack with that bodywork just hanging free be there.
It won't be hanging free for long, I'm afraid, because there's not much that holds that on. There's a couple little clips up there in front. Look at the left front tire's not even rolling. Oh, and that's Walter Payton, who's put it up over the tire barrier somewhere, too.
Walter Payton spinning backwards and backing into the tire wall on the course, and he's okay. The signal from the corner worker there, but Payton, who had been turning in a good ride today, having trouble as well here late in the going at Sears Point.
And he won't get down from there on his own. You saw that the thing was high-centered, rear tires were up in the air, so he's got no traction as we watch Bill Saunders try to make it back. And there's a caution flag, obviously, because now we have two cars limping around, or actually one car limping around, one stuck in the tire barrier.
A full course caution here at Sears Point this afternoon. Bill Saunders still trying to bring his Dodge around to pit road with the left front wheel locked up, and that's going to cause him some problems if they're able to get him back in the race. We look over Tom Gloy's shoulder, and we take a look at the top five. Scott Sharp over Greg Pickett. Jeff Perner has advanced to fifth. Fellows in fourth, the first Ford. Randy Ruhlman, a good job up to sixth today over Mitch Wright. We'll be back.
While you weren't looking, something magical happened. The durability of an oil-based enamel and the easy cleanup of a latex came together. Hard to believe? Try it and see. New Duratex Colors Enamels from Red Devil for the finish of a lifetime.
When you're looking for a clean break from your cola routine, you don't want to be sucked in by imitations. You want the only non-cola that picks up where colas leave off. You want the Un-Cola, 7-Up. When you want the taste of there's only one.
Start a project with Minwax Wood Finish and turn new into treasured, ordinary into extraordinary, even pine into cherry. Because Minwax Wood Finish makes it easy to turn any project into a beautiful masterpiece. Minwax makes wood beautiful.
Back at Sears Point, but under caution. Walter Payton up on a tire barrier. The track crew there peeling the front bodywork away. Payton's okay. He's out of the car looking around. Right before that incident, we had other trouble on the course. Bill Saunders in the Highwaymaster Dodge nose first into the tire barrier. He got back around to pit road, though. He's sitting on pit road now while the crew looks over the car.
Bill Saunders, obviously some major problems on your Dodge Daytona. What happened on course?
Well, we were going into turn 3 or turn 4, and the brakes kept fading going into nearly all the corners, and finally they just faded completely, and the rear end snapped around. I couldn't save it.
Threw off a lot of body work on the car. You drug most of it around the racetrack with you.
Yeah, I thought maybe they could get it off and I could go on, but wasn't going to be the case. Says the radiator's out of it, so we're through for the day, looks like.
Bill Saunders, the Dallas-based driver, done for the afternoon, as is Walter Payton in his Ford. Payton had a good run going today, but he's done for the afternoon. His Tom Gloy Mustang going in on the hook. These cars are a little different from what you might see on the Winston Cup Tour. We sent Bill Hennessy to pit road earlier to check out one of the major differences in the Trans Am automobiles.
Yeah, he was putting on a real good balance.
One of the stock items in the Sports Car Club of America Trans Am series, as is also evident in many other sports car racing classes, is the use of brake lights. You won't see them in Winston Cup competition or Busch Grand National or on the ASA cars, but on the road courses, the brake lights must be operative, as you see them here on this Camaro. Oftentimes, it's a dead giveaway for the driver in front of you when he's applying the brakes going into the corners, and it may be an advantage to the guy who's following.
What do you think about that, Dorsey? Can it be an advantage to watch those brake lights?
Well, I don't really use it. I tend not to look at the brake lights only because a guy can fake you out. He can tap the brakes and not slow up.
Race drivers don't fake anything. Come on now.
Scott Sharp's not faking it now because they're back under green, and buddy, he is on the way. Not a lot of time left. He lost that big advantage he had, so he's going to run right now. Greg Pickett right behind him, followed by Tommy Archer, and now Ron Fellows, the first Ford. First time we've seen him all day. As we see big black marks come off the Ford, that's not a good sign at all.
Car's back underway after that last restart, and the top four able to regroup behind the pace car there under caution. So we take a look now ahead at some of the other automobiles in the hunt here. Bobby Archer back on the racetrack now. He had tire troubles earlier. Archer to the inside of one of the Mustangs there to gain a position back, but he's really not in the hunt for a win here this afternoon after that trouble. He's running 13th at the moment here at Sears Point. SCCA Trans Am Tour, great to have you with us this afternoon. Rick Benjamin and Dorsey Schrader alongside. Cars into the carousel, a lot of traffic here.
A lot more traffic than you're used to seeing. That side-by-side isn't a good thing. Usually you run around the inside of this racetrack. We see one of the Dodges on the outside. That was Jim Stevens that just got passed in the Roush Racing Mustang. And I think this is Jim Durhog moving inside inside right now. In fact, it is Jim Durhag taking a pass and a position away from the Dodge.
Durhag, one of the great stalwarts of this series, running in the top 10 all afternoon so far here at Sears Point. He's a privateer in a Chevrolet, and he always does a great job. Your 4 lead cars. Ron Fellows has won a couple of these events so far this year, up to 4th spot now. First Ford on the course this afternoon, trying to get up into the top 3.
Well, there is no strategy now. The strategy is only one thing. This is racing. Now you got to go. Whatever you got left, you better use it. There's not much time left, and we got the top 3 manufacturers all beating up each other on this thing right now, so it should be a good finish.
Fellows trying to work on Tommy Archer, who is 3rd in the Dodge. They're right behind Greg Pickett in car number 6, the Chevrolet, riding 2nd. Leader whole afternoon has been Scott Sharp in car number 33. Sharp looking very, very stout here today. He really hasn't been challenged much. He's stretching the lead again.
Hey, you look at Scott. That car is dead stable. It's not sliding around. We've seen the Dodge. We've seen the Ford. Both of them getting real loose. As we're looking in car camera right now, that's Jim Durhag just working past, going into turn 1.
Durhag and Bobby Archer have been going at each other now the last several times around. We're back inside the Shell Zone Dodge of Bobby Archer here. Durhag able to hold him off at this point. They've been side by side for a lot of this last lap.
They haven't. They've got traffic in front of them, too, so there's a real good race going on. Oh, we see one car get loose up there. That's a terrible place to go off if you do. It was a good save, but I think that was Jeff Perner.
Yeah.
In fact, it is Jeff Perner who got loose, and he's going to be passed completely. Both those cars passed by the Archer car.
Bobby Archer to the inside there, knocking off Durhag and Perner with one nice move down the short straightaway into the right-hander.
Well, that's how the lap traffic can help or hurt you. You see what happened there? Perner got sideways, had to get out of the throttle. That closed that lane down. Archer was in the right lane, passed everybody.
Here's a battle again for 2nd spot. Greg Pickett and Tommy Archer going at each other. Archer unable to reclaim the position out of 7.
That's interesting, too, because that's where he got passed by Greg Pickett earlier on. So time now, the brakes have cooled down, the tires have cooled down. Tommy Archer's back to work.
Archer dogging Pickett now down through the S's in the back straightaway down to turn 11 one more time. Pickett with his mirrors full of that red Dodge. What's he thinking at this point?
He's thinking, I got to hold this guy off at any cost. This is the fun part of Trans Am racing right now. Watch these guys. They'll get sideways. Here's the pass inside. Tommy Archer gets under Greg Pickett. Now watch the launch coming on the pit straightaway. The cars have been loose. You see the back end starting to slide now. This is fun racing right now.
Tommy Archer grabs 2nd spot back from Greg Pickett on the backside of the course coming down to turn 11. Does he have better brakes at that point? Is that what helped him get to the inside?
Well, it could have been braking. It could be tire issue as well. You know, they've let those tires cool down now. He could have reheated them a little bit better. It's hard to say. Greg might have to sit back a little bit.
Scott Sharp still your leader. Not many laps left here at Sears Point. We'll be back.
Camaro. What else would you expect from the country that invented rock and roll?
Johnny Rutherford, Bobby Unser, Dick Simon, the legendary heroes of racing are back in the driver's seat. Fast Masters on Saturday Night Thunder, live at 8 Eastern on ESPN.
Hotel accommodations provided by the Holiday Inn of San Rafael. And today's Speed World coverage is brought to you by the new Dodge, a division of the Chrysler Corporation. And by Budweiser, fresh, pure, natural, proud to be your Bud. Welcome back to Sears Point International Raceway. Final stages of today's Payless Drugs Trans Am Classic. Dorsey Schrader here is a look at Paul Gentilozzi getting together with Randy Ruhlman.
Yeah, a little rub right there. Gentilozzi coming back from that early spin. He's trying to work over Randy Ruhlman, who's had a real good run going today. And that's not over yet. You can bet on that.
Tough to be a privateer in this series without much factory help, as Ruhlman has done so well.
It is really tough. You know, you got some really strong factory support for those top teams, and to run as an independent is a real hard thing. Randy doing a great job at it.
Paul Gentilozzi, of course, a longtime standout in his own equipment in the Trans Am series. He's moved on to another series now, but he still sees a lot of action for George Robinson. Here's Gentilozzi to the inside on 11.
Yep, good brake zone. He did it perfectly. He outbraked, set that thing up, and moved inside. No way to defend through there, and you've got a new position for, I think, 5th place right there.
So Paul Gentilozzi knocks off Randy Ruhlman and moves up one more notch in the standings here this afternoon at Sears Point International Raceway. You can see Gentilozzi's got a lot of car left. He's able to go out wide and cut tight there in turn 1.
Yeah, I think early on that he slowed it down and cooled his tires, and now he's got a lot of car. Now look, Jack Baldwin also in heavy track. He's trying to get his way by, and he's got cars all around him. That's on the right side. That's Jim Stevens in the Roush car that he's racing with.
Of course, we documented how Baldwin had problems early on. He was the pole sitter, led the first lap here, had driveline problems, had to go to the pits right away. He's been battling back all afternoon. He lost a tremendous amount of track position, but he moves up now. He's the defending Trans Am champion, picks up a couple of spots, moving up to 1 and 2.
Jack set that up perfectly. He just got by Jimmy Stevens. He moved himself inside the other car and kept it all the way through turn 1. You got to remember that's 150 miles an hour, and the cars are a little loose at this point in the game. So, you know, that's a gutsy move.
Baldwin out of Marietta, Georgia, teammate of the race leader, Scott Sharp. They're out of the Buzz McCall stables, and both those drivers really know how to get at it. I remember a race we were at 2 years ago in Texas where Sharp and Baldwin battled for the title and battled for the race win right down to the wire. They're great rivals.
No team orders here. I mean, both these guys are racing for themselves, as is everybody we see in this top 4 right now. These guys really going at it. Scotty, though, he's opened up a big lead, so it looks like he's got the biggest cushion he's had all race right now.
Tommy Archer sitting second. Here's Greg Pickett in car number 6, back to 3rd. Now, he'd been up to 2nd earlier, but Tommy Archer got by him a few laps ago. Ron Fellows riding in 4th at the moment. Fellows doesn't look like he's got much left for Scott Sharp or any of the other top 3 contenders as we take a look at Archer riding second out of the last turn down the main straightaway to start finish to put another lap on the board.
Well, Ron surprises me. You know, he's been the most dominant driver of the entire year so far. This is where Tom Boyd bases his cars, right at this racetrack. We did a lot of testing here. For him to be off on the setup is surprising to me. I thought Ron would be a guy for sure that would be a contender for pole and win, but you're right. Look at the car sliding a little bit. It looks like they're off just that little bit. And in Trans Am racing, it's so competitive. If you're off 2%, buddy, that's a long way back.
Scott Sharp, meantime, as there's a spin on the course. Scott Sharp hasn't been passed all afternoon, but there's trouble on the racetrack. Car number 97 spinning. Coming down the main straightaway, the Eric Wells car. That's a Camaro sponsored by Level Or Blinds. Wells gathers it back up after doing a 360.
He did the old Danny Sullivan right there, spin to win thing. He's gone all the way around, hasn't hit anything, so, you know, he goes on. Now we see Scott Sharp with a little bit of a slide. That's the first slide I've seen out of the Ranex car all day. That car's been rock solid.
Sharp, though, stretching the lead out over Tommy Archer, who in turn is several car lengths ahead of Pickett. Pickett has many car lengths on Ron Fellows. The top 4 are no longer under a blanket as we get down to the end. And another spin again, it's Eric Wells.
Well, he's done it again. You're right. This time it's in turn 4, though, a blind corner. The danger here is the leaders are coming up the hill from the backside, and that can be a big problem if they don't see him here.
Wells having trouble getting going. He hangs it up over the rub strip one more time. Now he's back underway. Leaders coming up on him. Wells gets the Level Or Blinds car moving down, heading toward the carousel. Last trip around this 2.5-mile road course as we watch Wells move back under power. Here's the leader, Scott Sharp, and he's moving up on lap traffic. He may have a problem here.
This is the danger. We've seen 2 spins in one lap, actually 3 when you put the other car involved with it too. Scott Sharp cannot allow himself to get into any kind of situation with those cars. Lap traffic in front, and there's still pressure from behind.
He's got several top contenders running right behind him. Sharp now into turn number 7 here at Sears Point. Last time around today, but he's got challenges from Tommy Archer, who's 2nd, and Greg Pickett 3rd. Ron Fellows not very far behind in 4th, so Sharp really has to watch it down here through the S's.
He's got to look from behind at the people coming up at him, and up in front of him he's got lap traffic. He cannot allow himself to get hung up. He can't allow himself to be too aggressive and to hit one of those cars, so it's not over until the checker flag falls, that's for sure.
Greg Pickett trying to grab 2nd spot here. Sharp, meantime, moves down the back straightaway one final time and heading for turn 11. The 91 Trans Am champion looking for his 2nd victory of the season. He goes under the Eric Wells car. Scott Sharp into turn 11. Looks like he's going to have a clean ride to the checkered flag.
A lot of caution there as he made that pass, and it allowed the Dodge to close in, but I think Scotty's got his day today.
Scott Sharp by pit road and takes the checkered flag. Scott Sharp, your winner here at Sears Point International Raceway. So the young driver from East Norwalk, Connecticut, takes the Buzz McCall Chevrolet past the checkers into victory lane this afternoon at Sears Point. 2nd win of the year and a great drive, flag to flag for Sharp.
Well, that's the best lap you could ever have right there. Got the hand out the window, a big smile on the face. You know, you're just happy it's all over. It looked like it was easy for Scott, but I doubt it. I bet if you talk to him, he'll tell you a different story.
We'll hear from Scott Sharp in just a moment. Sharp, your winner today, Tommy Archer, finishing second in his Shell Zone Dodge, the car number 3. Greg Pickett grabs a nice 3rd spot, and then Ron Fellows brings the first Ford home in 4th. Paul Gentilozzi, who had trouble today, gets back to 5th.
It's hard to finish in the top 5, much less come from behind to do it.
George Robinson, who also had trouble, ends up in the top 10. Here's a look at the 3rd group of 5. Deborah Gregg finishes a nice 16th today. Some of the other drivers in the field today, Bill Saunders, who had trouble at 25th. And finishing 26th, NFL great Walter Payton, who crashed toward the end as well. Let's go to Victory Lane. Our Bill Hennessy with Scott Sharp.
Congratulations, Scott Sharp. Win number 2 on the season. You're padding your championship points.
Well, I tell you, I just don't know where to start. I got to thank God. He really watched over me today. The crew just gave me a fantastic car. Rain-X Camaro ran strong all weekend. We were real fortunate today. The race sort of went our way. I'm not sure what happened to Jack, because I'm sure he would have been up front there, but I just thrilled.
Scott, you led every lap of the distance. Nobody even got close to your rear bumper.
Well, I tell you, the Goodyear tires, they were fantastic. And like I said, I just got to thank Jimmy and Will and Dennis most of all. They just worked their tails off and made this a great car.
So Scott Sharp back in command in the point standings with his 2nd win.
Yeah, Ron Fellows in 2nd right now. He's really dropped in points because of that penalty, but he's still competitive.
Tied with Bobby Archer for 2nd spot as well. Tommy Archer up to 6th. Jeff Perner is 9th. Scott Sharp, though, your winner today at Sears Point, his 2nd victory of the season, thrusting himself well into the lead in the SCCA Trans Am point standings. Hope you enjoyed the action today. Scott Sharp, your winner at Sears Point. For Dorsey Schrader, I'm Rick Benjamin. See you next time on ESPN.